Hey, it's Saturday. It's 10 a.m. Eastern. It means it's time for Jedi Academy, the only show where all we do is answer all your questions from all the top players and YouTubers around. I am, of course, Ranger J 1999 from Team Instinct, and welcome everybody to the stream. I'm sure there's going to be a ton of questions, and that's what we're here to do. So if you'd like to get your questions in, of course, all you have to do is put it in the form of a question. Make sure it says question or is in the form of a question. And of course, Dr. Finn, Medicine Woman, the Troll Extraordinaire, will scoop them up and he will add them to the queue and we will get to them. We try to get through every question that's brought to us here, and that is what we do here. Joining me today, of course, on this epic journey, of course, is Dr. Finn. We've got Sir Loki, the lightsaber builder extraordinaire himself here. Mr. Loki, what's going on, man?
Hey, good morning. It's bright and early where I'm at, but I'm feeling good. I had my I'm trying to cut back on the caffeine. Actually, I just had my
well, nobody likes a quitter
thing. No, I'm just cutting back.
No.
But yeah, I'm having my breakfast in a bottle right now. Protein shake. I'm feeling pretty good, man.
I do it all the time. You know, another thing I've been doing too is I got this from I'm trying to think of the guy's name. I can't think, it's too early in the morning. But semi-fasting, where I only eat from like 12 to 10. So I don't do anything. I don't eat or drink anything. Oh, I'll drink some fluid, but like 12 o'clock, I'll have a shake or something. And then from 12 to 10, I'll eat. And then I don't eat anything from 10 to 12 the next day. It's working out pretty good. It keeps your metabolism going and stuff like that. So
it's good thing.
I'm always looking for health stuff. Speaking of health, speaking about being healthy and drinking lots of caffeine, Warrior's here with us. My other brother from Team Instinct. What's going on, Warrior?
What's happening? What's happening?
Warrior, come out and play. What's going on, bro?
Oh, not a whole lot. Just hanging out with you guys today.
I know. It's good, eh? Who else we got in here? Anybody else? I know Finn's trolling us, but I don't think we've gotten the rest of the crew. Mike was on a business call. He should be here soon. I'm here. Oh, there he is.
Turbs is. Yeah, I think Turbs is here too.
Okay, so Mike is here. So Mike, what's going on, bud?
Life is good. Territory battles, and 9-hour galactic wars.
Mm-hmm. And then Turbo, are you having the same issue, or you just don't care?
No, Turbs isn't here.
Oh.
So Turbs is out drinking, and Bella is out bragging that she's a YouTube star to her friends. So.
Okay, so there we go. So Turb is an alcoholic, and Bella's
learning the ways of the dark side.
Pretty much. I mean, I've unleashed a monster.
She is your apprentice, after all.
Right? That's right. Yeah. Speaking of territory battles, while we get everything set up and get the questions going and stuff, territory battles. How's it going, fellas, with territory battles? There's a lot of talk about still with territory battles. I think me and Warrior were discussing where we are with TI. We're both 35 stars. Now, the thing I noticed this week is for ships, I don't know if this happened to you or if it happened in another area, we kept getting Kylo Ren's shuttle and then another one that's like, we haven't been able to farm this thing. How are you going to put this in the battle if I'm looking for the damn thing? You know?
Well, 7-star Millennium Falcon.
Surprise.
Did anybody see the devs' response on the forums about that?
I did not. Did anybody else hear it or tell
Yeah.
What did they
It was
say?
pretty funny.
And I met her, and I think she's awesome. But her response from the developer was, "Tough shit, spend money," and I'm not even kidding you. Literally said,
"Really? Oh my god!"
Her response on the forums directly to players that were complaining was to spend money and get the ship yourself, which we know is actually a physical impossibility. I have a guy who dropped $30K in the last month to try and get all the ships 7-starred and failed. Set $30K in 1 month, and so it's a physical impossibility.
$30K? US dollars?
Yes, which means you have the biggest whales in the world. We're talking even men that are willing to, mortgage their house for this thing can't get them. So that's their one solution. So we got to let that go. Their second solution, she said, or find somebody out there and recruit them who does have it. So you have to find the billionaire who has that ship because the millionaires can't afford that ship. Wow. And I was really saddened by that response. Find someone who has the ship or buy it. Well, nobody has that ship, those ships to 7-star. Nobody can buy it because the drop rate is like 0.003. So you literally have to spend 100,000 just to unlock all the ships.
That's absolutely ridiculous.
I think it's actually worse than the Millennium Falcon because, I know people that have the 7-star Millennium Falcon. I'm sure you do too, but then it's the other ones they don't have.
Well, what happened was when they first came out with ships, the Millennium Falcon had a low drop rate, but it wasn't stupid low. It was like regular low because I know a lot of people that unlocked it pretty good early on. Like if you were an early adopter and spent money on ships like in that first month, then you probably have the Millennium Falcon. But for everybody else who decided to wait, they modified the drop rate to where it's basically non-existent.
Right.
I guess they didn't listen to. I guess low-key, Finn, they didn't listen to my rant on Wednesday.
Well, so to be fair,
my ass, Finn. That's jacked
the
up.
post that she responded that to, the person was asking about the ship, which was fine, but then asked if the issue was going to be fixed, like it was a bug. And I think we know it's not a bug. People aren't happy with it, but I think we're fairly confident it's not a bug. So I think that's why she responded the way that she did. Just simply because the poster added, "Is this issue going to be fixed?" at the end of the post.
Well, not
the best response. Granted,
no, it's a horrible response.
It's still not the best way to ask the question either. By just
no, I'm not putting this on the person that asked the question. That's actually I would ask the same thing. Well, then how about we just use ships that most people have and can use, even a little bit. But good lord,
she should have just responded with the.
It's the kind of I'm on commission response.
I thought your boy put a screw you, buy money. But what if I don't? Screw you, buy money.
Yeah, I have heard about the drop rates. Those drop rates are pretty awful.
But the only place you get it is
also because
it's not like you even have a specific pack to get the ship now. It was barely out there. If you didn't spend a fortune to get it, you can only buy it once, right? I've got 4-star Kylo Ren ship. I've been able to get it since, and I'm not spending a fortune of crystals. I'm not spending $30,000 US on a game. To those that did, hey, great, but that's insane. That's absolutely insane.
The issue too, right, is it's kind of like what Warrior said in the very beginning. The ship mega pack, there were only a certain amount of ships in the pack now. Now they added 8 to 9 more ships in that pack.
Right.
So that's why the drop rate got so bad too. Is they added more numbers to the lottery, right? Is what they did. It used to be 5 balls, and now it's 5 balls and 4 mega numbers after that, right?
Jeez.
Damn. Yeah, that's pretty bad.
But they may be listening because they are kind of delaying the next territory battle because they're working on things. So that's always something.
Yeah, it's what's the ridiculous thing that we can get Wales to spend millions on next time?
Well, maybe they're going to activate 7-star Fulcrum Ahsoka and 7-star Wicket because I never see them in platoons.
Oh, I've seen Fulcrum. I haven't seen Wicket, but we have.
Oh,
Fulcrum.
You have? I haven't seen Fulcrum yet. I haven't seen Wicket at all. I would think more people have 7-star Wicket than 7-star Kylo Shuttle, right?
Well, they for us this week it was. I don't know about Bravo Warrior, but we had POW in there.
Yeah, I had some POW.
It was farmed.
We had a lot of POW.
You basically have to farm everything now. I'm farming everything mad. I'm like, oh my god. The reason I was farming POW is because I had nothing else to farm. But I'm like, oh my god, we have to farm POW now.
Or they're probably updating it, so they're going to include Veteran Han and Veteran Chewie.
Oh, don't say that.
Oh, it'd be awful.
It was disappointing that they wanted Phoenix characters, including Hera.
Yeah, that was weird too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you could kind of every.
That doesn't even make sense to me. Okay, for territory for the platoons, you got to use some of your Phoenix characters. But you can really only use one because you have to use 5 of them to go do the battle.
And one of the requests was the leader. The only leader.
I know, you need Hera. It's Really?
I feel bad without Grande here. I feel like I have to be the activist here for CG. So, the Phoenix characters were actually in the bottom platoons. I haven't seen any Phoenix characters come in the middle platoon, which is where the Phoenix battle is. So they didn't request Phoenix in the territory that actually required it.
But that doesn't matter. You still have to give it up, and then
Yeah, but that territory doesn't care.
The Empire doesn't care.
I miss Grande. I don't want to keep doing this.
No, don't do it then.
It's not me. I'm always on the other side.
When we were there, they mentioned that they would not require any character that was required for a specific mission in the platoon missions. And I said, so like what? And they said, so like, if you need Hoth Soldier for a mission, they're not going to require him in those platoons. And I said, oh, well, that's really good. And I said, what about Commander Luke? And they're like, oh yeah, of course. Any character that's needed for a specific node, then you're not going to have to use them in territory battles. That is the furthest from the truth. And of course, they're going to say this was to change, but they've actually specifically required characters in platoons that are from that specific mission, which is causing everybody to tear their teams apart and then go in with half-ass shoddy teams, missing their leaders or a critical, damage dealer like Ezra and things like that. I mean, and it's not just like 2. It's like, we need 14 of those characters. So it's like crippling a third of the team, to do it. And I think that component of it's wrong. They really shouldn't have done that. They had mentioned and said they weren't going to do that. And I thought that was a very nice move. And then they proved me wrong to believe that they were being nice and decided to go against the very thing they said they were going to do. And I know it's all subject to change, but that's still a shoddy thing to do to, an entire group of people. Say, yeah, you've got one node because they didn't require Phoenix for us for anything in phase 1 through 4, and then phase 5, of course, we need them, and that's loaded down with 15, 16 of those characters.
It's
they wanted a few turrets as well, didn't they?
Go ahead, Finn. What was that?
Just to ask Warrior something. So I don't know if this is maybe something on the coding end that made it more difficult, but they would have to block out an entire faction versus the individual characters. Because I haven't seen CLS or Hoth Rebel Soldier or Hoth Rebel Scout in there. But I guess Phoenix is an entire faction. Did they make any comments about the entire faction being blocked out? Because that could, I guess, maybe potentially lead to Rebels being blocked out too, since they're specific for certain missions as well.
No, when we talked about it, what we were looking at was a developer account, and of course they were like, this is, in development stages and stuff. And I said, well, in here, you guys are requiring this particular character that's needed. And so what are you guys going to do about that? And they said, well, we're not going to allow that. We're going to actually block those things out. So in their own words, they said they were going to make sure that didn't happen. So I see what you're saying, that, you're thinking from a business standpoint, how do we block out certain characters? But it's really pretty simple. That they're randomizing those, but think about it. They're requiring Phoenix Squad in only the area where Phoenix Squad is located. That means they're programmed populating them into that area. They could program it to not populate in that area. Do you know what I mean? Yes. So while I hear you, I don't find any credence towards it, because I believe unequivocally it's programmed during Phoenix for it to ask for Phoenix. I unequivocally believe it's programmed when it's today, when we have to do Rogue One. I can guarantee there's going to be 20 plus Rogue One requested in those battles, and that's programming. They can say it's randomized, but it's randomized within a parameter they're establishing.
It's asinine. God, it's so asinine. I mean, you think we're making this stuff up, but we're not. It's like,
and I can give two shits. I'll be honest with you, and sorry for my language. I know this is 13, but
no, you can cuss.
I could give two craps about it because we're in Team Instinct. For God's sakes, I can drop my.
I'm not thinking about it from a Team Instinct.
Survive.
Yeah, but I'm not thinking about Team Instinct. But I'm talking about everybody else. 99% of the game.
Rogue One characters. I mean, there's 9 or whatever. I've got them all maxed out. So I mean, I can give up one character and survive. But what about the 90% of the general populace that can't do that? If they don't have their bays, they die, and half of them don't even have their bays, but those who do, like, that's it. If they don't have bays, they're screwed, or if they lose Churret, they're screwed. And I know everything doesn't need to be unlocked for everyone immediately at the beginning. I'm the biggest proponent of that. But at the same time, crippling individuals who are Dolphins or free-to-play, which is your vast majority, 85+% of your population, crippling them through an event, it doesn't create a fun environment where people are enjoying themselves. It creates a highly stressful environment where people are frustrated, and you don't want to frustrate people, because at some point of frustration, people start to quit. And while you may not,
they're already quitting. I mean,
you have like record sales and stuff, so you're thinking, wow, record sales. But record sales is and you got to be really careful. It's a sign of people not necessarily being happy with the game, but in their frustration, spending out of frustration to try to fix the problems within game. But see, it's hard, because in some games people spend because they love it. Some games people spend because they're trying to overcome something in the game's mechanic that's a mess, and they're trying to fix it through money. And in this game, people are realizing you can't fix that what's broken in this game. And so while they're having record number of sales, it's not reflective of success like they believe it. It's actually reflective of a frustration, and they can know this by going into forums and other places and looking at the pulse of the populace and seeing why people are frustrated. If they doubled drop rates on gear, if they made territory battle rewards twice as good, nobody is going to be maxed out tomorrow. It's not going to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nobody's going to be like, oh crap, they're giving us double rewards now. I mean, instead of taking a free-to-play person, 3 months to farm a character in Cantina, it's now going to take them, a month and a half. It's only going to cut things in half. There's still a grind. It's just, it makes the grind more manageable and stuff, and it creates a sense of like goodwill towards your players, and then people are more encouraged to spend because they believe they're getting value out of it, versus a lot of people who are like, screw this. So the purchasing a lot of people are doing is desperation purchasing, and that will eventually lead to them quitting. And that's a bad thing for the health of the game.
Well, a lot of people are quitting already. I mean, we lost Grande. Grande's left, and there's been a lot of other people I know, and I'm sure you guys have quit the game. They're like, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I've had people in my shard and stuff like, I can't do this anymore. I don't. This is not fun. I don't enjoy it. This TV stuff is crazy. It just and then when you compound that with all the stuff that's happening on TV, it's like, oh my god, oh lordy. Mike, you've been kind of quiet.
Yeah, I was thinking of another area that only tea. I'm being good.
He's watching F1, man.
No, that finished. That's going to be an interesting race tomorrow. Very interesting. But the one that's grinding my gears at the moment is the Omega pack in Resources, where you can get up to 30 purple mats and up to 10 Omegas on a drop. 10 and 3. I've got 2 days left, or 1 day left. 10 and 3, 10 and 3, 10 and 3, and it. I don't know. It's the promise of something that really doesn't seem to be there, and that actually that's covering old ground, isn't it? It's the same with the ship mega packs. There's this one here, but like we discussed earlier, it's 0.0001% of a chance to get anything that you actually need,
right,
to either enhance your own game or for your guild, because that's the other thing, isn't it? Is everyone's feeling the pressure of letting your 49 guildmates down.
Yeah.
So it's kind of it's an enforced peer pressure almost. And however much you all kind of comfort them and say look, don't beat yourself up over it, you still do.
Loki, any thoughts?
That's deep for me.
Yeah, Loki, any thoughts? You've been kind of quiet too.
No, everything was said. I mean, I'm just still kind of bothered what Warrior mentioned earlier about the ship thing. It's just, and just in general, it's amazing that, you know, even Team Instinct. I mean, a lot of you guys have been playing since day one, and we still can't meet the requirements. You know, that's what bothers me the most out of the whole territory battle thing is. We have, you know, I got big roster. A lot of guys. I mean, you guys got big rosters, and it sucks that they're leaning on all these newer requirements that are impossible to get right now. You know, aka the ships, maybe Paplu, Logray, some of the characters that just haven't gone farmable yet. So I'm just generally upset about that. That they're making those requirements for platoons and stuff like that, and all they really have to do to kind of ease the pain that Mike kind of spoke about is let us use characters that are widely or more available that we already have at 7-star or whatever, or even 6-star, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's my general frustration overall right now.
Gotcha. All right, well, let's hear from everybody in chat. Let's start getting to some questions. We'll start from the top and work our way down. Where did they go? Okay, here they are. We'll start with you, Warrior. We've got 2 related questions, one from Linus Milius and one from HBK146. I'll read them both out to you. Okay. Have you seen videos on Hobo? Hobo, I like the way you put it, Hobo Yoda, plus AA plus CLS that looks like like a future nightmare? And then HBK146 asks, what does the panel think about Hermit Yoda Team Mobile Gamer featured in his latest video? Also apologize to Ward for my stupid comment on his Bears video was hungover. I don't know what that is, but I guess you get an apology too, Warrior.
That's all right. I know what he's talking about, and it's all good. I've got, you know, a lot of comments, and I'll respond to all of them. The cool thing is unlike a lot of the bigger YouTubers that get kind of too big for their britches, I've never gotten too big for my britches. I'll always, if the comment doesn't get caught up in some sort of a filter, I'll always respond to every comment. I'm very, very dedicated to that, and if you look at any video, you'll see that. So that's one thing. I want to thank him for the interaction, regardless of whether we agree or disagree. It's okay. You know, that's the whole point is as far as that video, I specifically haven't seen that video, but it's funny because it was posted in Team Instinct, and then all the guys were theory crafting on it and stuff, and so this is the thing. I love Mobile Gamer. I think he's a cool dude. I really enjoy hanging out with him, and he's really got his ducks in a row when it comes to business, as far as YouTube business. But when it comes to this game, you know, he's not a pay to play. He doesn't have like an OP roster, and so what's happening is he's getting this dev account, which I have one too. You got to spend an hour a day every day for the next like 3 months to get the dev account up, and I don't have time to do that. So I have to use my existing account versus the dev account because I don't want to put all the time and energy into it. Eventually, at some point, I'll try. But so he's getting all these new toys and tools and things that he's never got to play with before and see them, and it just seems so amazing. And think about it, a free-to-play person. Or close to. I mean, the guy spent a little bit of money in the game, but nothing like he's not. I wouldn't even classify him as a dolphin. He doesn't spend monthly. He has occasionally dropped a little bit here or there, but he doesn't invest monthly. So it's basically someone who's like free to play mentality coming into a dev account where it's unlimited power. You know what I mean? Unlimited power. So you got unlimited power. Yeah, he gets super excited, and he starts playing these combinations. And there are things that, like, you know, we're like, whatever. You know what I mean? So it's no big deal. And so I listened to the comments, not on his video, but on Team Instinct, who were breaking it apart. And what's funny, and I you know, Team Instinct would probably tear me apart for saying this, but they're not going for Yoda. Not one of them.
No.
Not one of them. The number one guild in the world is not going for Yoda. I don't think you have anything to worry about. I think the Gear 12 pieces are more important. You know, I have this weird thing where I like to unlock characters, and so I might do half and half and try and get Yoda just to unlock him, not because I think he's OP, but just to unlock him. And yes, he's going to be meta, and yes, he's pretty cool, but they've already come up with concrete solutions to very, very easily defend and defeat the Yoda situations. So, like, they're not worried about it. And when they're saying, you know, I mean, they're literally putting out bulletins like, nobody buy Yoda shards. You're wasting your stuff if you do that. Go for Gear 12. And so, you know, I know that they got these guys get to play with these tools and stuff. I got to play with Yoda too when I was there, and when I played with the team, it seemed like it was going to be really, really, really good for PvE because he kind of keeps everyone alive. But other than keeping everyone regenerating health and protection, there's not a whole lot to it. And so you can overcome it just like you can anything else. There's always tools to it, just like the Barasafi. You've got to know what debuffs or what characters or what things you have to do, kill orders, all sorts of stuff. And once you know the debuffs and the kill orders and all of that, a team all of a sudden becomes deconstructed and easy to beat. And so I don't want to say easy to beat. There are some teams that still take 3 minutes to grind through, but there's not an unbeatable team out there unless you're just played through Galactic War and your 12th node is some OP team that you just can't beat because you're not that overpowered yourself, and that happens. It happens. I actually on Galactic War just got tied up on my node 6, and it actually took out one of my main team. And so for everybody else, like I've got 100,000 arena power. So what I'm facing is over 100,000 arena power. If you can even imagine that, that means I'm at 6 to 8 Zetas that I'm going against per team. And they're all gold geared and things like that. And so when I lose one team, like I only have like 2 teams that are gold gear. So if I lose a team, I'm crippled for the rest of territory battles. And I lost a team. My second team went in and finished node 6. Then node 9 finished that team off. And I brought in a C squad, which was really embarrassing. And I barely finished node 9. And then node 10 finished off my third team. And I went to my D squad. And I lost 3 out of 5 on my D squad. I haven't done that in over a year and a half probably. So for me, I'm like, holy shit. And I even had a broken node 11 and 12 during this situation, and that's where I ended up with 4 teams of like gear 12, 11 characters with maxed out abilities, and I lost 3 out of the 4 teams, almost 4 out of 4 teams. So I guess my bigger frustration in the game would be Galactic War. I spent over a half an hour on node 6 alone. Like, I know why Mobile Gamer and Arnold don't want to do like the Galactic War race and stuff anymore, because that video would be an hour and a half long.
Yeah, it's fun.
I posted on Reddit about it. I think that the rewards need seriously revamping because of the amount of time that we're having to spend if you want to complete the Galactic War now.
And you have to complete it because you need everything that drops in there, especially working on ships and other things. And you need the characters apparently from there, so you can get Bodhi.
Mine cost
so we're gonna POW.
Mine cost me a restart. I had one node that took me over the day refresh, and I lost the restart due to one node. All right, it's my own fault that timing for me dictated that I was doing it very late, but yeah, screwed me over royally.
All right, so we got those questions out. All right, we'll go to Mike on the next question. This is from Gus989. He says, hey guys, question, how would you recommend moding, moding CLS as a leader? How would you mode him?
Crit damage, crit chance.
Modding. Okay, I had to look at this. Modding.
Yeah.
I was looking at the moding. It's like, wait a minute. No, it's modding. Okay, modding.
Because you're thinking of Bodhi, that's why.
Yeah, I know. I was like, oh, let me get some more caffeine. Jesus. Modding CLS as a leader.
Crit damage, crit chance, lots of speed.
Yeah.
Hit hard and fast.
Yeah, I mean, that's what Luke does.
Yeah. For me, I was willing to take the hit on the crit damage and chance a little because he's still hitting for over, 25k on his special or whatever. But I went ahead and did a speed set and a potency set because he's applying deep and stuff. And then on the speed set, of course, speed secondaries. And so I really focused on speed. And the reason, obviously, is just really competitive shard to try and keep up with everyone else's speeds.
That makes sense. I guess you have to kind of look at, that as well. So, all right. Next question for Sir Loki. This is from Evergoo. Question. What are some strategies GOs are guild officers are implementing to make territory battle coordination sustainable. Yeah, this is a big issue, and it's one that I went off on.
I don't think we got a long enough stream to answer it completely, but
there's a lot of issues with this. I mean, this is my biggest complaint is the time sync, because I mentioned this on the Wednesday stream. What guild officers are having to do right now for coordination and everything is just ridiculous. And the thing that really frustrates me is, they implemented territory battles but gave guild officers no tools whatsoever. All the tools that are being used in the game come from outside sources. Team Instinct has, God bless them, man. The officers, they coordinate like mad, and I don't know how they do it. But, what are some of the things you guys are using? What do you do? Coordination is sustainable. What are you guys doing, and what are your thoughts, Loki?
We also utilize a little Excel spreadsheet.
Mm-hmm.
We throw it up on the Google Docs, and all of our officers kind of rotate and kind of direct traffic, I guess, if you want to call it that. But, I'm not going to get into the big detail. We can talk about this for the whole stream, honestly. There's just a lot of stuff.
We can spend a few minutes on it. This is a question, and so let's delve into it a little bit.
Right. So what we ended up doing was we sat down as a group of officers, and we figured out we took everybody's galactic power. We broke everybody up into like two groups. So like within the guild, we have like group A, group B, right? So in group A, it's mostly everybody up to a certain GP. So if we say everybody with 2.2 mil and below GP, you're in group A. And then group B is like the whales or dolphins or whatever you want to do, and it's usually our bigger GPs. And what we tell everybody like in group A is, hey, make sure you do all your battles, your combat missions, your platoons, and then we're going to tell group A to deploy either in the middle or the bottom. Like, we keep it simple. Like, we're like, okay, group A, you guys are going to go first. This is your window to get everything done, and then everybody deploy at the bottom. And then we wait until everybody does it. And then group B, who's normally we divide the groups up, like not only GP, but it's like we know that in group B, these are the guys that are most active as well. So they're always checking, always their login activity and all that is like they check every hour. And then we tell group B, okay, here's what you guys got to do is make up for whatever deficit we have on the bottom to push us to like either 2-star or 3-star. And then the rest of us go into like the middle. So that's kind of like what we do in a pinch, kind of just like an overview of what we do to kind of simplify it. But it took us a while to kind of set it up and play with the numbers and say, hey, group A as a whole, this is your total GP that we're playing with, and this is how we're going to manipulate it. We're going to tell them to go all in the middle or all in the bottom, and then group B, you guys be on deck, and we'll kind of direct group B to kind of funnel them into barely tipping maybe the middle to 2-star, and then we stop there, right? Because I think our overall GP is only like 103 or 104 million. So we don't have a lot of GP like Team Instinct or BHG or the other bigger guilds. So there's going to be more coordination with us. And we found it's been pretty good. We just kind of make it simple. I mean, for us, it's simple. And so far, so good. I think we're at 34 stars for the morning. And looks like we're going to go in 34 stars for the going into phase 6 today. So, yeah.
What about you, Mike? Mikey?
Sorry, I'll take myself off mute and then you might hear me.
Yeah, that might help.
I was just having a look with so I used to lead BHG AAA stars, and we used to use Line as our main means of communication, and I made the decision to move to Discord. I've moved over to Reloaded, but I still call, I can't just walk away from my guild. So yeah, I'm still in their chats and everything. And the Discord works so well. It really, really does. And I've had a lot of feedback on that's making such a difference. So yeah, it's finding the platform that everyone can use, that just enables you to be able to direct traffic, and also having someone that's really good with spreadsheets.
Yeah.
And doesn't sleep.
Yeah.
That's the other one.
He sleep. What do you mean? What is?
If I can add one more thing to Mike's comment about Discord, I mentioned dividing the guild into like 2 groups. You can also do that in Discord. You can assign the people in your Discord server to a certain group, because I think some people like to mute the @everyone. I think that thing flies everywhere in everybody's Discord right now. But then you can make Group A, Group B your roles, I guess, and then assign members to the roles, and that helps a lot too. Kind of when you're directing traffic in the territory battle, that's one way, like what Mike mentioned, is to use Discord and set up members and roles, and just have a really good communication, strong communication base with Discord. So we were in the same boat. We were all in line, and then we dumped line and just went to Discord and never looked back.
Gotcha. Anything you want to add, Warrior? I don't think you're not an officer or anything, are you? But do you have an opinion on any of this?
Hell no, I will never do that again. I say never, and I know you should never say never, but I ran in another game over 5 years ago in Stormfall Rise of Valor, the #1 alliance in the world with over 1,000 guilds. I had like 300 officers, and it consumed my life to the point, I mean, it was absolutely horrific, and I'll never do that again. And I am looking at what all the officers are doing in this territory battles, and I'm just like, yeah, this is a good reminder why I never want to do leadership in a game like this. Way too much coordination and, just too much stuff. So, yeah, I'm glad that I don't do it. But if anyone's using Line out there, stop it. Just stop it. Stop it right now. Get on Discord or Slack. Slack and Discord are the best 2 communication servers on the market right now. There's a couple others, and I'm on all of them. I'm on like 6 of them for different reasons, and they all suck. They all have their issues. They all have their problems, except the best 2 that rise to the top for functionality, actually usability, is Discord and Slack. And I'll tell you, there are a lot of companies that have made the same determination. For example, Patreon, who I use for my patrons, won't touch any other server-based communication tool other than Discord. That's the one they've chosen to go with. So if other major corporations are making the same determination, you might want to as well.
Very well. Very, very good. All right. Let's see. Next question is for Loki, I believe. Let's see, 1, 2. Yes. This question comes from Mortal Womprat. He says, question: if I go all in on Resistance for Galactic War and territory battles, do I need to gear Resistance Pilot, or is R2 just as good or better?
I would say yes, you need Resistance Pilot, because she has Expose on her special. The one character you could probably slack off on is in my opinion, is Rey. You can substitute R2 for Rey, because Rey doesn't have a mechanic to do Expose. She's the big hitter, but the thing is the Resistance team, once you start landing the Exposes, especially with Poe, Trooper, and Pilot, the other team will never go. So you really don't need a DPS hard-hitting character with the Resistance. R2 is great because he has an AoE. His burning AoE can activate all the Exposes on the other team, and then your team will get another set of turns again. So I would say if you want to slack off, I would slack off on Rey, but I would definitely gear up Resistance Pilot.
Mm-hmm. Back to the top to Mr. Warrior. This is from Cyber Shark, and this is his question. Any suggestions on beating Resistance team in GW? Once they get their exposed going, I tend to lose all my guys.
So the easiest way is simply just bring Rex in. Rex returns Nasty up, shuts that team completely down. They're a highly squishy team that die very quickly. If you allow them to have nonstop looping turns, you're never going to get a chance to kill them. So you really need tenacity up. So you need a tank setup that you're going to have, preferably auto taunts. So we're talking about any type of character that can auto taunt. You're talking Baze or Shore Trooper potentially, if you can. If not, you're going to take a little bit of damage first before you can get that up. But Rex, having him really fast, Rex has been a solution for a really long time. Plus, Rex brings when they crit, it's going to feed it on a turn meter, which will speed your team up and allow you to respond to that what they're doing to you. So, but you need a tank to protect the team, obviously, and then you're going to need Rex probably as the lead. If not, you don't have to have him as the lead, but Rex is one of the easiest farms in the game as far as gearing him up and stuff. He's one of the he's actually like on the top slot for easiest to gear light side characters, just like Darth Vader is for the dark side. So he's definitely one of those characters everybody should farm and level up.
All right. See, this is from Orentor777. It says, have you guys ever thought about moving your live stream to podcasts? I think it would be more convenient to listen on another platform instead of keeping a tab open on YouTube. We have not thought about that. Finn, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
What do you think of this one? I mean, can we do both? Do it on YouTube and then make it a podcast?
Yeah, so we've looked into it, potentially making like an audio file to upload onto something like SoundCloud. Getting it onto the store, honestly, I have no familiarity with. So it's all of this kind of, we started from scratch to begin with. None of us have any background. Like Ranger and I, when we started this, had no background in anything YouTube or media related. Mm-mm. So we've been kind of learning as we go along. So, and I know a few people made that suggestion. So it may be something we'll start looking into. I think at a minimum, sometime soon, we'll try to do the audio file thing where we'll post it on like a SoundCloud so you guys can listen directly through there. Beyond that, like something like the iTunes store, like the Google, not the iTunes store, but the iTunes podcast stuff and the Google one, we'll have to see a little bit more into, because I know it requires like an RSS feed and something like that. So it's something we'll look into.
Oh, goody. But if that's what you guys want, then we will definitely do it. All right. Mike, next question. This is from Strontium Dog. What is this? Strontium
2000 AD.
Question. Anything else disappointing with the actual gameplay content in territory battles? I was expecting more than just wave after wave of snowtroopers and probe droids for 6 days. It's a great question. What do you think of that, Mr. Mikey?
I understand it. It's the same. Yeah, it's kind of like the events and the assault battles, isn't it? It's just the waves. It's just a different setting with phases. Yeah, no, it does have the potential, I suppose, to become a bit like boring. But saying that, at the moment we're doing 24-hour 6-day territory battles, and that's gonna trim down, isn't it? They've just opened out the time for us all to kind of get our heads around it all, and then when it trims down to 12 hours, speeds it up and adds another element.
Well, what about the actual, what he's saying, the actual content territory battles? I mean, that's just wave after wave of snowtroopers and probe droids. You know, do you think they could have done a little bit more in depth with this, or?
I'd like to think that this is the opening one. They've already experimented. Like when we got the Ewoks, we got the ATSTs. Yeah. So they've got the mechanics in there. I would love to think that they're testing them to make sure that they work and they can then enter into the game without throwing too many other areas of the game out.
In mind that ATST or whatever, the ATAT thing, that's in this currently. Nobody's got to play it yet because nobody has a 7-star Rolo yet. But that is something we will eventually get to do at the end.
What are your thoughts about the wave after wave of the same stuff? Where
it's all randomized. I mean, sometimes I get elites, sometimes I don't. Sometimes it's like 3 droids. It's like, what the hell? Other times it's just a bunch. It's a wall of stormtroopers, and they're all taunting, and it's like it takes you forever to go through it, but they don't hurt you. I mean, it's all varying, and they had to create a set list, so to speak, of certain characters, and they did that. And I mean, I think what I'm hearing is people see some redundancy in the character types, but what are they going to do? Invent and create 100 new character types? I mean, think about the amount of time this put. It took them 8 months to develop what you're seeing. So if you're looking at it and going, man, this is simple, this is easy, this is no big deal, why can't we, it took them 8 months of their life, and they had to, everything else, I mean, you saw a lot of issues because they rushed a lot of different things because they were really focused on this as a primary source. And so some of the reworks and some of the, characters that came out and stuff, there wasn't as much effort put into because this was their primary, baby that they were trying to work on. And so, yeah, I don't know. You can always improve, or they can always infuse new characters down the road. But I think they did a really good job for what it is. I did computer programming for 3 years and realized I will never be a computer programmer. It's too much math. But I know how hard they work. I've been to their Capital Games twice now and got to see these guys work. And these guys go in at 7 a.m. and they leave at 8 o'clock at night, sometimes 10 o'clock at night. They're putting in 6-day weeks, sometimes 7-day weeks. Sometimes they work overnights just so they can produce this game. And nobody at Capital Games is rich. Not one of them. They're not making billions of dollars. They're just trying to produce the best game possible within the time parameters they're being given.
Yeah. What about you, Loki?
I don't know. I think everything was said. I got really nothing else to add.
Well, thank you for your information.
No, it was well said. I mean, Warrior broke it down.
I know. So get your questions in, guys. So let's break down. We're trying to catch up on the questions. Pretty much the teams. We'll start with you, Loki. What are the teams that you're seeing? I mean, let's talk about the teams that everyone's talking about. Resistance, Rogue One, those kind of teams. What are the most effective for each of for this? I mean, let's break down clones. Let's break down real quick overall thoughts of how effective they are. But clones, Rogue One, Resistance, and of course there's Rebels. But what do you think is the most effective Rebel team? I mean, obviously going to be Commander Luke with it, but what are your thoughts on those different teams?
So the teams I've been playing with right now, surprisingly, I haven't been using my clones a lot. Haven't had a use for them. I generally like to. I love Rogue One. I think Rogue One is just perfect for this whole territory battle thing. I don't even have a Zeta Jin.
Same.
I didn't do her Zeta, but I did Gear 12 my Baze and my Chirrut, and that helped tremendously because Baze gets super tanky with the Gear 12. I think Cassian is just really good. So having the standard Rogue One Jin lead with Chase and Cassian and K2 it's just a phenomenal team for all of it. I mean, you can use Rogue One everywhere where you need them. Surprisingly, if you got them geared up and you got the mods on them, I mean, you don't need stellar mods on it, but I really love the Phoenix team for the entire thing. I use them in, I guess, Phase 2, Phase 3. I use them, even outside of the required phase, and they're just they have all the criteria for a good territory battle team. They have all the disruption with Zeb and the debuffs, the daze and the stagger. They got a lot of healing and a lot of protection. So for me on Phoenix, I like to drop one of the attackers. Normally it's a Sabine. I don't run Sabine in the team, so I run Hera with Ezra. I think Ezra's is amazing. And then I run Zeb, Chopper, and Kanan. So you have the counterattack mechanic, which helps tremendously. And then you have Zeb with his protection regeneration.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody gets it. And then Chopper has the health one. So every turn they take, they're gaining health protection back. They have the chance to counter. You got 2 taunters. Hera's got the backup plan, and she can resurrect guys. And then Ezra just is a brutal attacker. So Phoenix has been surprisingly very good outside of the required territory or phase that they're needed. I use them everywhere. And then Resistance is just the A team. They're that good. And then just like standard Rebel teams, I like having like a healer or a healing mechanic as like leader. So I mean, Wedge lead is great too. CLS lead obviously works awesome. And then I like to have maybe a couple tanks kind of protecting the scout or the soldier. So old Ben works great. I did a Zeta on his on the taunt, so his taunt comes back after it goes down. That works out really well. So I like to have a healing mechanic in a Rebel team, and then just have a couple of taunters and then a couple of attackers. So you can have the Zeta Han Solo is very good. The only other team I can think of that I use as well is the like a Jedi team, but I use like a General Kenobi lead with a Zeta Barriss, and then I surround them with like 2 or 3 attackers. So that's normally like the little template I give my guildies is always have a healing mechanic on the team, a taunting tank, and then just have some good solid DPS. Going back to the clones, I think that's why I haven't used them yet, is they just don't do enough damage. I'm kind of upset about that, but I mean, you don't need to run a full team of clones. You can still run like Cody lead, and then have like you could put like CLS in that team if you wanted to, right? But you could play around with it. You could run a Princess Zodi, try that with Princess Leia in that. So kind of like a raid team, but yeah, those are just some of the teams I use and I tell my guildies to use when we're doing the territory battle.
Warrior, any thoughts on that? Or we'll go ahead, Mike.
So all I was going to say is that our experience so far with clones is that they'll go up to like phase 4. They're failing in 5 and 6. So you could kind of give away or fill your platoons with some of your key tunes up to P4 and just run the clones. But after that, they're not really viable. Phases 5 and 6.
Gotcha. Anything you want to add, Warrior? Or
I was just going to agree with them both, actually. Phoenix Squad, exactly how he said. You definitely want to take out Sabine, and I've already mentioned this before that I was a big Sabine proponent, but that was specifically for PvP. If you were going to use them in PvP, you got to have the 2 damage dealers and the armor down is amazing. But when you're on this, you need the 3 tanks. You really have to have Chopper with the amount of health and protection regeneration he brings to the table. He's I know that you get it with Zeb protection regeneration and stuff in Kanan, but Chopper is absolutely critical. And trust me, I run it on auto battle. I mean, I went through all 6 phases last time and all 5 phases this time. They're one of my 3 top squads. And then Resistance, top squad, pretty amazing. Resistance is the #1 best team. As long as you have them modded correctly, they're top notch. If they're not modded correctly, they're not going to last. They're going to get to phase 4 and they're going to get cut down. So you got to have them modded correctly. You got to have a lot of potency on most of those characters and speed. You really want them faster, so that way they can get off and get a lot of those exposes. And then just like raids, the opponent will never really take a turn, so they'll be fine. But Resistance #1, Phoenix Squad is in the top 3, and Rogue One is in the top 3. I'd probably put them in #2 slot. Those 3 teams you definitely want to work on.
All right. Cool. Well, then we're going to go back to Warrior Top with our next question. HPK146 asks, should I go all in on my Barris team in terms of Gear 12 or wait for the return of CLS and only focus on evergreens like GK, potentially even pre-farm Han and CLS for later use?
I'm not sure what the question
I'm not either. Let me try that again.
Like
Should I go all in on my Barris team in terms of Gear 12 or wait for the return of Commander Luke and only focus on evergreens like General Kenobi, potentially even pre-form.
Evergreens? What does that mean, evergreens?
I'm not...
Characters that just last.
Buffs, I think.
It's just everlasting characters that will probably be good for a while, like General Kenobi.
Oh yeah. No, there are some definitive characters in the game that are just top notch. They're what I would call a 5-star character or whatever. You know, they're top notch characters. Those are the ones you want to max out because you're going to use them in PvE, PvP. They're going to come back and forth in the meta. So I don't know what his Barris team consists of, but if it's his Arena team, you know, and he's able to take them to Gear 12, then I would say, of course, Arena, if that's important to you and you're using that team now, there's no harm in that. And if you're using them successfully, they probably are very good characters in the meta because that's kind of what everyone's doing right now is using the meta. So, you know, I would say, you know, whatever, that would be fine, you know, work on those characters. However, with that said, I wouldn't go crazy. I mean, I've popped a few over to Gear 12 that are really important, like R2-D2 is one of the best light side characters in the game. You know, CLS, he was built to be one of the best characters in the game. I mean, the guy can solo the Rancor by himself. So there's certain characters that you definitely want to go. For example, what I've done is for territory battles, I've taken all my leaders to Gear 12 because they're really important characters. So Finn and Jyn Erso, and you know, I'm working on Hera because if your leader dies, the whole team falls apart. And so I've done this. Although I have found you don't need them Gear 12 to be successful. None of those teams need Gear 12 to be successful. So yeah, I would just, you know, focus on that what's important to you. If Arena is important, then move those characters you're using to Gear 12.
All right, cool. Next question is for Mike. So far in territory battles, what is the most unusual team composition that you use, and was it effective? That's been kind of throw that to everybody, but Mike, we'll start with you. What's the most unusual team comp?
Most unusual? Is an Akbar lead unusual? I've got to be honest. I've really been enjoying running Akbar whenever the opportunity presents. But then I'm old school, and I used to use him a lot in Arena. You know, it's like level 70 being the cap at the time. I just love the economy that you get, that each time you do a non-attacking move, somebody else will go and hit them for you. So it's and I've actually been contemplating gear 12ing him just to see whether I can, because normally I lose. I know. Other than that, I'm trying to recall who I put in. It was the Hoff brothers one, and it was a real mishmash. Yeah, it's been interesting. I've given my gin away a few times, and coming up with a different lead that's viable. But I'd say running Akbar and just like tunes that aren't all attacking, and just hoping on RNG that one of your hard hitters is the one that goes. And also with that, you've got the added bonus if you run Leia under him. She stealths, which procs an attack, and then she's ready to go as well because she gets the 100% TM.
That's true. Warrior, Loki, any strange combinations you've tried or anything in territory battles? I'll take that as a no. Okay.
I was going to add to the Akbar team. I think this past the Phase 5, one of the ones was Rebels only, I think, and you had to use Scout, I think was one of them. So I actually used the Akbar lead. I threw Fulcrum Ahsoka in there, Old Ben, and then I actually used my Captain Han Solo, and that team surprisingly did very well. Captain Han Solo gets the event buff, which is very valuable. So he gets the revive. Any of the Hoth tunes get defeated, they're revived for free, right? And they get a bunch of buffs. So he was keeping my Old Ben was getting shot down, and then he'd bring Old Ben back. Super annoying. And then Old Ben would just heal himself up with Captain Han Solo. So it was a very good team. I didn't think it would do well because it lacked DPS other than Ahsoka. But Ahsoka did her thing. The team generates a lot of buffs. Scout is a required unit, but he does the stun and gives everybody turn meters. So that was actually a surprisingly really good team.
All right. Let's see. Loki, we'll go to the next question. Through 2 territory battles so far, what character do you think the most unsung hero or character with minimal use beforehand that suddenly had a newfound purpose in territory battles? For me, Ayla is becoming a superstar. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree on that one, actually. Any of the characters that stun, Ayla's really good. She calls assists, so depending on who else is on the team, it gets annoying. Captain Han Solo, honestly, for me, has just been surprisingly good because I haven't used him outside. I haven't used him in Arena. I haven't used him in Galactic War. And I know he's a newer character, but he is good in that area. They weren't lying about it. Going back to Akbar, I use him. So it is an oddball leadership, an old school leadership that we were using back in the day. And surprisingly, it's good. And Old Ben, surprisingly, has been pretty good as well.
How's your Fulcrum been working out for you?
Oh, I think she's good in territory battle. She's good.
Okay.
I like her. Yeah, she's you pair her with Commander Luke lead or like I mentioned with the Akbar lead, just very good. She takes a lot of turns. She gets a lot of buffs, and she does damage. She can take out the probe droids. That's what you want to take out, right? So, yeah. She can one shot the probe droids if all the RNG is with you, and she gets the buffs, and then does her whirlwind. So it helps a lot.
Yeah. Were there any unsung heroes that before this started that you were kind of like, when you got in there and used them?
Not really. I kind of had a good expectation that anything that revived health and protection was going to excel, and everybody that revives health and protection or characters is excelling. The only team that I thought was going to do phenomenal that actually isn't doing phenomenal is Clones. I actually went in on the Zeta for Cody just now, like a week ago, and everybody was like, no, that's good for you for Phase 4, but because you finally will get to do Phase 4. I'm like, no, I still won't get to do Phase 4 because I'm never around when you guys do the raids. But at least I have him, because it's like people are like, Warrior, show us video of the clones in Phase 4, and I'm like, mine do like 600,000 because they're not Zeta'd. So finally, I guess I got that checked off that he's Zeta'd, but I've still got to remod that team and everything. But no, they're not doing very well, and I've been told by pretty much everyone to just abandon all hope for them in territory battles, which was kind of sad because there's a lot of clone lovers out there who just really, really, really love their clones, and the clones, sadly aren't performing consistent at the top levels.
No. Here's a question for everybody. Who do you think is, let's say you have Jin or Finn as a Zeta possibility? Because we've already said clones are not kind of where you want to go. Who would you choose out of those two? Would you go with the Rogue One team or would you go with the Resistance team?
Resistance.
Okay. What about you, Luke?
Yeah,
the Zeta on Finn makes resistance. Without it, they're clones without Cody as a Zodi.
But what about the Rogue One team with Jin lead with the Zeta?
I haven't. I cleared. I did 6-6 on the first round. Well, the first territory battles with all gear 11. Jin in fact, Jin only has an Omega on a turn meter truncheon thing.
Yeah.
That's it. The rest of it, she's gear 7. I've only just maxed Baze. What I did have to utilize was her revive on her AoE. I lost someone and she just brought them back, and then Chirrut healed them, and away we went. I mean, I think Warrior touched on it earlier that Jin doesn't actually need the Zeta.
Yeah.
So and with that in mind, as she doesn't need it, but Resistance have to have Finn Zeta. That would be how I would view that.
I agree. Just wanted to throw that out there for the kiddies.
I'm smiling.
All right, back to the top to Warrior. This is from our friend Mortal Wombat. Question: I will unlock General Kenobi in 4 weeks. Should I continue gearing other characters to keep increasing my galactic power, or start hoarding gear for him? It's a lot of core bounties.
So there's nothing worse than getting a brand new car and then not being given the keys to drive it. It's pointless to have a general. It's pointless to have a General Kenobi sitting at level 1. I would try to get about 6.3 million credits reserved for the next 4 weeks, and I would also work on getting all of his gear. So go to like gear 7 and above and make a list, a shopping list, digitally or write it down on a piece of paper of every single thing he's going to need. By the way, it's like 4 million Carbonti salvage. Mm-hmm. So there you go. Put that on the list. But so that way you have it. I doubt you'll even have everything by the 4 weeks. But if you're a Dolphin and spend a little money, you could buy all of the pieces that you can't farm and then farm all the rest as best you can. Then when he comes out, you'll be able to level him up to 85. You'll be able to get him to like gear 8, 9, or 10, and then you'll be able to start kind of initially playing with him. Because he's a tank and he has really high natural protection and health and armor and stuff, he will be viable even at a lower star rate and even at a lower gear rate. But really, for Arena, you still need them 5-star gear 10 minimum. And then also start saving your ability mats, because you want to max that out on day 1 as well. That's 25 Omegas. That's literally the 4 weeks you're talking about. You're going to need to save your daily Omegas every day from now until then to make sure you can pop all of his abilities maxed out and have over 120 of the Mark IIIs. So that way when he comes out, I know that you could focus on other characters from this time to then, by putting all of that energy into other characters. But if he's really important, and it sure sounds like it because you're asking, you know exactly the day he's unlocked, if it's really that important, then I would hoard. I did the same thing for him, and I got him up to 9 on day 1, and it was so much fun to be able to take him the moment I unlocked him out and play with him and have fun with him, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and he's an amazing character. I mean, he really is. And
if he wants to watch a horror video, I recorded it. I took him, I unlocked him and took him to gear 11, and I maxed all his abilities. I saved for 2 months.
I did a horror video.
Seriously, I did. I neglected so much. I dropped in Arena because everyone was up and coming, because I knew he was coming, and I just went into horde mode. I could have geared up so many tunes, and it was the toughest couple of months in my life of restraining myself from clicking all those green pluses until I got him.
But it was worth it, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
I mean, he's a pimp character. All right, Mike. Next question is for you. So from our friend Chrome Cobra. For the Thrawn 7-star event, who is better for the squad? Sabine, or Chopper?
See, I can only say Sabine because
wrong. It's Chopper. What's wrong with you?
I know. We've been discussing this, haven't we? I had Sabine. Sabine was the only real Phoenix character I actually did anything with from the get go. So I had her up to 6-star before we could farm them all. And then I ran. Obviously, it's a Hera lead. I think for me it was Hera, Kanan, and Zeb were gear 9, and I gear 11'd Ezra and Sabine. And also focus on their abilities. You want, like, you need the Omega on Heras, and I think you need all the specials as well so that they all work better. But I know that you're going to get a conflicting view to that now.
What? Chopper versus Sabine?
Yeah.
Chopper. I mean, Loki, Warrior, you guys agree or disagree for the Throne event?
I used the whole setup but Chopper, because back then I wasn't a Chopper fan, and he does no damage, and so I went ahead and used Sabine, and second attempt I made it through. But now, knowing what I know about Chopper at the highest end, when he was lower geared, he just didn't survive. So, but now that I know what I know, I would put in Chopper. Sabine.
Yeah.
Does he need, what gear level does he need to be?
I think gear 9, right?
I think mine is still gear 9. I haven't even.
I think with the 3 tanks, my tanks, I only had 2 at the time, but they were both gear 8. And that was enough for tanks to survive. So if you had 3 tanks at gear 8, and you had their uniques maxed out, I think you could get away with those at gear 8, and then the other 2, Hera and Sabine, or Hera and Ezra, I would definitely try and get them to gear 10 if you can. So you're kind of averaging gear 9 basically. If you could average gear 9 with having your damage dealer maxed out the most, because he's the most important.
Yep.
Thanks for that. Yeah, I said specials. I meant uniques. Thank you for Those are very important, I think, for the Phoenix squad and beating that battle.
Right. All right. Loki, next question is for you. This is from HPK146. Are Ghost and Phantom an improvement to a Fleet Arena team, or are they not worth cutting non-rebel ships like Bubba, Maul, JC5s, Vader, TFP?
That's a good question. I actually like the Phantom. I've been playing around with it, so I still run a Tarkin team, the standard Tarkin team with the TIEs, with both TIE fighters and Biggs. I have the U-wing in there. I've Biston's U-wing, and Vader. So I sometimes swap out Biston's U-wing for Phantom, because the Phantom gives everybody a critical chance up, so the TIEs will hit harder and all that. But I wouldn't say it's it's OP. It's a nice little substitute for that 4th or 5th slot you got going on in your team. But yeah, I mean, play around with it and try it. You're definitely probably going to need it eventually for territory battles and platoons. So, which is why I've been farming it. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't. I don't think it makes your team any worse. It's a good substitute for like one of the utility ships. Like I have Biston's U-wing in there, obviously, because it's annoying and it does target lock and it stealths itself. But then the Phantom hits decently on damage, and then it gives everybody critical chance up, which I like.
Yeah, I think the Ghost and Phantom are good ships. I just think you have to run them in the right crew, but I don't know if it depends on what kind of fleet setup you're running, right?
You don't want to run them. You don't want to run them. And this is why. It's not because they're not good. I have them all maxed out. I've ran them, and it tore through even target lock teams. I never even got to worry about the overhead fly. And then when I did have it fly overhead on one on battle, it didn't hardly do any damage because like nobody on my side was target locked because there's cleansing and stuff. So all rebel team is badass, but every ship team can be beat. Every ship team can be beat. There is no ship team that can't be beat. And so what happens is 99% of people are running target lock. They see a new rebel squad and they're like, ooh, I want to play that. That looks like fun. So then they hop on and they target you, and everybody wants to play against something other than a frickin' target lock team. So you become the play toy of your leaderboard. I switched out and I smoked in like a minute and a half a target lock team that normally it takes me like 3 minutes to get through, and sometimes I lose to him and most of the time I win, but I put in my rebels and it was no big deal. It was like awesome. The problem is then I woke up and I was in 41st spot. I've never been out of the top 10. So I was like, what? The 41st spot. So obviously defensively they're lacking, just like any team I think is, but they're targeted. If you've got the team everybody else has, then people just do what they do. But when they see something cool and different and unique, it's that this even goes for when you change one ship. You could put in like TIE Reaper and it's a good ship, but if somebody sees that and they see 3 stars, they think it's like a weakness, and so they go for you, and of course they're going to beat you because everyone can beat everyone, and all of a sudden you're losing a bunch of battles because everyone's targeting you because you have one ship in there that's a perceived weakness. So you got to be careful on perceived weaknesses, and unfortunately they need to put out a lot more ships for people to stop perceiving variance outside of a target lock team as a weakness.
Great point. Goodness. I tell you what, they do make a big difference. When I was going for Akbar's ship, having those guys in there with all the others, I mean, they made a big difference. So they are really good ships. But yeah, you're going to get... it's just like the voice of Warrior. I'm sorry. Oh my god. Alright, next question is for Warrior. This is from Rand Althrain. That's from the Wheel of Time series. Very nice, my friend. Warrior mentioned avoiding Hermit Yoda, but what are everyone ultimately buying with their guild event tokens? Warrior, what are you investing in?
So I know my Team Instinct told me no Yoda, no Yoda, no Yoda, and I know that I played with him and he's all right. He's good. He's going to be meta changing. But I'm conflicted. Like I said, I'm a like Pokemon mentality. I don't want Hermit Yoda. I think he's going to be amazing. I just want Hermit Yoda because I hate looking at unactivated. Like that's my like OCD mentality. I'm like, unactivated. What the hell? I need him unactivated. I need him activated. But so I don't know. I think that I'll probably take all of my rewards and use all the rewards as Gear 12 to put people up at the Gear 12, and then I will probably save the rest and try to buy some Gear 12. And then if I get a wild hair, I might buy a couple of shards here and there of Yoda. I eventually want him unlocked just to unlock him. I'm not real concerned about getting him unlocked and maxed out and having the first Yoda. You know what I mean? Like that's not a thing for me. I'm sure there's other people out there already running towards that goal. And like I said, I think he'll be good, but there's so much that's going to happen in the next 3 months, especially for Darkseid, that there's a reason why Yoda it has to come out and why he'll be ready and why most people will be unlocking him in the next 3 months, because there's a chance that in 3 months that he might be a need because of the Darkseid and their new tool kit. So I'm just excited for everybody who plays the game who's on Darkseid, who's really been frustrated, and Territory Battles was almost their last snap where they're like, I'm just going to quit. Just I would encourage everybody to just remember it's just a game. Just have fun. Do what you can. Let the rest of it go. And enjoy the next 3 months. I think what you guys see roll out over the next 3 months will be exciting for sure.
Very nice. All right. Another question for you, Warrior, from Mortal Womp Rat. Question. Can we get an update on Warrior's thoughts on his darling B2 in the current meta?
So, B2 is a very difficult character to get to Gear 12, but when he pops over to Gear 12, he becomes a monster that would be meta if we could get more people to get B2 to Gear 12. With the stat boosts that he gets, he's on par with all of the other large tanks with the health and protection boost. And buff immunity is hyper important right now, as is being able to remove buffs from the opposing team. And I can't speak on this because I know something, but let's just say B2, according to CG, they're hoping B2 becomes meta again with some of his cohorts. So there's that.
Well, that's a thing we've been talking about in some of our streams, Warrior. I'd like to get your thoughts. Darkseid is dead right now. I mean, it is dead. I mean, you look at the meta report, you just look at everything. It is dead as a doorknob. I mean, where do you think are some of the things, and I'm bringing this out to the whole panel. Mike, you too, I know Loki, we've already spoken on it, but you and Mike, what do you guys thought was Heart of the Warrior? But Darkseid is super, like, just not anything right now. I mean, in certain places it is, but I mean, what are your thoughts on what they need to do to improve the bad guys? Because the Darkseid Empire, it doesn't matter. They're so overwhelmed with Rebels and Lightside and everything that's going on.
New characters and reworks need to be solely focused on Darkseid for the next 3 months, and I have a feeling that is what is coming down the pipeline.
I want my separatists, man. That's what I'm
I mean, you know why this happened? Because of Finn's stupid love for Ewoks. I mean, I blame Finn for this. But go ahead, Loki.
There's separatists, there's Night Sisters, and there's droids. Basically, all of those three need reworked, right?
So we get
they've hinted to that. Yeah, they've hinted to that. So yes.
And some new Resistance, some new First Order characters because of the new movie. So if they were to rework those three factions and bring in some new First Order, I mean, there could be a shift for sure.
Do you think that Darth Vader needs a rework because he's not viable, other than in certain places? I mean, they're one of the most powerful characters in the game. Him and the Emperor. I mean, they're good, but
make a video on Darth Vader is anti-Zeta Barris. He is the anti-Zeta Barris. He can stack so much dots. He keeps everybody at all their protection's gone relatively quickly, so they're all at health. And while the dots are allowing the health and stuff, it puts so much debuffs over their head that he can just Culling Blade, and he's super tanky and stuff. And if you have Thrawn running with him, Thrawn can continue to regenerate his protection and keep him cleansed. Darth Vader's actually exactly what a lot of people need to go against Barriss Offee as well. That's another video I should probably be putting out because people do start to think like that. They go, oh, Darth Vader sucks. He's stupid. Pop him to gear 12 and see what happens with his Culling Blade. You know what I mean? He's exactly what you need because when she's healing for 6, if you're hitting him with a 56,000 Culling Blade, who cares? You're still getting 46k through. And these characters are really beefy and tanky, so you need the Boba Fett hit, and you need the Culling Blades of the world to kind of counter this. Mm-hmm. So you're gonna have to build a team around him, like a Shore Trooper that does healing and critical hit immunity for yourself, and you're gonna have characters like Thrawn who can fracture their tanks but also regenerate protection. But Darth Vader is the lead with Thrawn, Shore Trooper, Death Trooper, and Director Krennic is a very viable team right now, even with CLS out there. The only problem with CLS is all of the countering. Mm-hmm. You got to be careful. Bring in specific characters that are targeted. So Thrawn targets, Death Trooper has his AoE increase cooldown. That's a dangerous thing to do because you potentially will get hit. But the good news is you've got Thrawn to keep Shore Trooper alive and Shore Trooper taunts. So you can play it right. It's just timing and stuff.
The only thing I'll add to that, because I was playing with Vader lead again, is when you're playing against a CLS lead and Old Ben combo on the other team, the damage over time totally screws you up because that Rebel team will get a lot of turn meter, especially CLS and Old Ben. Because every time they get damaged, right, they get a percentage of turn meter or whatever. That was the only thing I learned on my shard when I tried to go back to Vader lead. You're correct. It destroys Xeris, no problem. But I got my ass handed to me with against the CLS and the R2 and the Old Ben leads. I'm sorry, not Old Ben lead, but CLS lead with Old Ben and R2. It was just It was too overwhelming. And I think actually it might be bugged because those two alone, if you get a chance to run it, they gain so much turn meter, it's ridiculous. I was just watching it, and I was like, there's got to be a bug or something with the damage over time and the stacking turn meter gain that old Ben and CLS get. But you might want to look into that. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I actually hear you on that. That's why I said you got to be careful with CLS lead teams. But as far as the, like, General Kenobi lead Barrack Coffee teams,
oh yeah, for sure.
It chews right through that. And, you know, if you're trying to climb, what you do is you switch your team out. You use this team to beat Barasafi as you're climbing, and then you, for the last battle, switch out to whatever defensive team you think is going to be the best for the hold, you know, on the last battle of the day. So you wouldn't want to leave it. You wouldn't want to leave it like that because
got it.
I partly because he's also a pilot as well. I gear 12'd Maul because I'm going down the route of if I can daze them, then I can AOE them. Mixed results. I'm right now. I'm stuck on node 6. Warrior mentioned earlier on about having an awful node 6, and I'm there right now. I can take them, but I'm losing key tunes. If I run my full Sith squad, I'm losing my Sith trooper, but I can win the battle. And I'm in an R-in at the moment whether I want to give him up right now.
Well, you can always go with another tank.
Yeah, well, it's the Sith squad.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
yeah.
I mean, you can go with still run Sith with Royal Guard and still be effective, even if you lose for that battle. I mean, you can still do that. I mean, you're not hurting that bad. If you still got your 4 main Sith, you can still rock and roll.
This is true. I might actually sacrifice it, but yeah, that's the area I've been looking at is the AOE days, which shuts down Thrawn, it shuts down CLS.
Also, run Death Trooper with your Darth Maul. I know it sounds weird, but both of them. I mean, he dazes on his basics, so and he's got his cooldown increases, which really helps as well. So you throw the daze AOE with Darth Maul, and then you can continue to apply that daze individually to characters that it didn't apply to, or characters that it's starting to wear off on because they're faster with him.
Yeah.
And because of Darth Maul, you'll be able to throw your grenade that does the cooldown increases, which effectively ability blocks them all for 1 turn, or it's all the buffs, and you know how many buffs they have.
Yeah. So actually, I'm going to play around with that later on. To thank you.
That's right.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
But yeah, I keep looking at the dark side to gear 12.
The dark side.
I've got the 2 pieces to gear 12 Savage, and I'm looking also. How much Trooper would get buffed?
No.
And also, in the reports on GG, they were saying that Sith Assassin is one of the biggest gainers of going to Gear 12. The initial change, anyway. Because that's the other part, isn't it? With Gear 12, it's not so much the getting to Gear 12, it's the gear that you can then apply once you're there, which is going to make the biggest differences, if I understand correctly.
Could be.
I wanted to go back to the talking about who's going to get those reworks. In Force Arena, they just did a big rework and addition, and it looks like the Jedi and the Separatists. I'm sorry, not Jedi, but Galactic Republic and the Separatists got their reworks in that game. Surprisingly, they actually classified Darth Maul as a Separatist. do you guys actually see that happening, where they would add the Separatist tags to Darth Maul, possibly Savage, Darth Sidious, maybe? I don't know.
I don't look at Sidious and Maul as separatists. They just were they're Sith, and they were just a catalyst to start, get the war going and things of that nature. I mean, they didn't really give the Separatists were just a tool for them. They didn't buy into any of that baloney. I don't think Sidious or Maul should have the Separatist tag. I mean, they're Sith, and that's it.
How about Asajj getting an honorary Sith tag?
He wasn't really a Sith. I mean, he is.
No.
Who? Wait, did you say Savage?
No, I said Asajj Ventress.
Asajj Ventress? No, she was never really a Sith.
See, I'm curious about whether she could become viable and just make all that horrible green stuff disappear from your opponent. Because it's non-attacking, isn't it? Her removal of the opposition buff doesn't actually impact on them, so it shouldn't
trigger counters and stuff.
Exactly, but it should clear them of.
Yeah.
No, that's something else. I'm
the rule of
seriously.
Two, and Darth Maul and Savage being the rule of two, and Darth Maul being the master and Savage being the apprentice. I mean, Savage died before he was ever a Sith. He's never technically a Sith, but he's classified as Sith in the game. They could do the same thing with Savage. Asajj. She was never technically a Sith, but she was rule of two. She was the apprentice, So just like
I don't know about that, because in the canon, they just used her as more like as a pawn. I don't think Dooku or Sidious looked at her as anything other than that. That's why that's kind of why she got pissed off, and went and did her own thing, because, I don't know. It's so tricky with the rule of two, being that's canon, one master and with the power, and then the apprentice trying to seek it. That's why, the Palpatine, when Vader tried to ever make an apprentice,
that's why he had her almost killed. Why he attempted to have her killed was because he realized that she was reaching a level of power in the fifth power that she was dangerous, and he wanted to replace her with Savage, who could basically be a more controlled apprentice. He wasn't ready to give up his mastership yet, and I think he was too concerned about her, and that's why he was going to have her, executed and then bring on Savage. I don't know.
It's interesting. You can go either way on it. You can go, if you're true to the rule, then she's not. But then, like the argument's made, it's like, well, she was dark side, blah blah blah. You can go either way. All right. So next question. Let's see. Mike, this is from our girl in Scotland. Keyboard. What FO character would you like to see in the game the most? Mike?
Yeah, I'm startled Gazelle, because I'm trying to think of who else is who are my options.
You've got Snoke, you've got the new Royal Guard.
Snoke, he's quite good, isn't he? Yeah.
I mean, you've got the what are the 7 called from Force Awakens? The bad guy, Kylo Ren's group. What are they called? I can't think. I've got brain dead.
The Knights of Ren.
The Knights of Ren. You can put them in the game.
See, I'm an old Monty Python fan, and I always think of the Knights of Ni.
We want a shrubbery. Very nice shrubbery.
Sorry, muted for the cough there. No, Snow could be great. I hear his ship's quite impressive. You know what they say about men and big ships, but hey, yeah. I'm itching. I've got a maxed First Order squad, and all I can use it for is like the first 5 nodes of Galactic War.
That's right.
Which is very depressing.
Mm-hmm. Traitor.
So yeah. Anything. First Order need a healer. They need. Yeah. I mean, if they could have kind of like a Zaris type, whoomp, there you are, fully recovered Zaris or Chirrut or whatever. What a major healer that brings something else to the party, then they should be good to go. I hope so.
All right.
I like them.
Yeah, I think they could be solid. All right, back to the top.
That regenerates health and protection and also hits like 15k on basic. That one character, a support character that could hit like decently hard and regenerate health and protection on everyone, would become the key person that everybody would have to focus on, probably replace First Order officer. Yeah. And then you got Stormtrooper countering, and maybe bring some sort of countering in. And then people aren't going to be worried about First Order TIE Pilot, but he's going to be over there jacking everybody up.
I know.
But they're more concerned about the new support character. So even just one new support character would really take them from not usable to usable.
I agree.
And I use Thrawn in place of Fu anyway. Because he does he cleanses, he gives turn meter, and he gives back protection.
Yeah.
And he fractures as well. So I mean, he's a great kind of honorary First Order.
Yeah. All right. So next question for War. This is from Randolph Thring, the Dragon Reborn. Should he take one or two characters to Gear 12 or get more to Gear 11? Ooh.
Well, I'm not sure that they compete with each other. I mean, the Gear 12 pieces, you have to, farming them is stupid. And I'm going to tell you, if you're just wasting your crystals on farming Gear 12, the Gear 11 piece that takes it to Gear 12, you're spending 3 times as many crystals as needed. You'll easily spend 3,500 crystals trying to farm on that low drop rate to get 50 pieces of the salvage. It's cheaper just to spend the 1,400 or the 750 or the whatever it is, 700 or 1,400 for the 25 pieces or the 50 pieces. So save your crystals and do that. And so you just have to decide, you have people you want to take to Gear 12 and spend crystals on, or do you want to farm for the other Gear 11 pieces? Some of Gear 11's farmable, some of it is, not. And so, like, if you've got a Mark 6 something that's 1,400 crystals, you just have to decide which one's more important. But I don't know if they necessarily compete with each other for me. For me, if I'm taking characters up to Gear 11, most of those pieces I can actually just farm slowly over time. And then for the actual Gear 11 pop to Gear 12, I purchase those pieces. So I use crystals for one, and I use farming, my regular farming, for the other ones.
Mm-hmm. All right, next question from Mike. Wait, who got the last question? That was War. Mike, Keyboard asks, what faction do you think are in a desperate need of a rework? I think we kind of mentioned this already, but what do we think?
Separatists were touted, over a year ago, as being, they created the tag and they've done not much. Well, have they done anything with them?
Not that I can think of.
Not
yes,
really.
Yes, a couple of pictures on Geonoceans.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
That made him OP.
That was the difference between Spy being good and not being good.
Yeah, my Spy's still sitting there at Gear level 9 and staying there because it's like, what?
What happened was...
Yeah, give Funsack 100% counter. Oh. That'd be fun.
I would love that.
That really would throw a cat amongst the pigeons, wouldn't it?
100% counter, and the dispel can't be resisted, right?
Oh.
And he can't be stunned.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like he can't be. Like he can't be stunned or can't be staggered or any of those abilities that eliminate his ability to go. Like basically give him like
Ahsoka.
Tenacity or something. Yeah, give him 100% tenacity. That way you actually know that you can actually potentially overcome the potency.
That's really good. But yeah, Separatists need to rework. Night Sisters are just garbage. They need a total rework.
Did Night Sisters ever work?
No, that's why they need a total revamp. I mean, it's sad to say, but they are just... It's just not good. All right, next question. This is going to go to... this is from Keyboard again, and she wants to know, Warrior, did you buy any VC or VH packs? The old veteran Han and Chewie packs. Did you buy any?
They had didn't they have just a basic?
Yeah,
pack?
And then the crystal ones.
I didn't do any of the crystal ones, but the other pack. If there's anything that has Mark III or Omegas, unfortunately, I have to get the ability mats. They're more important than anything else. So
I agree. Okay.
But not the little $12.99 crystal packs. Those I don't ever spend money on, and those are the worst value in the game.
Mm.
Was their pack the one that allowed anyone that got it to gear 12R2?
No, that was the Hoth pack.
That was the Hoth pack. Right. Okay.
Best pack ever.
The whole.
I once did a video for my alt of how many offers I had to scroll across to get to the Bronzium. And I think I counted 27 different packs that I could purchase before I got to the free one.
Wow. Little bit of scrolling. All right, and this is going to be our last question of the day. This is from Comb Cobra, and he would like to know who would win in an arm wrestling match between the panel. He says, I'll go with Ranger. Thoughts?
I think Bella would beat all of us.
Oh, God. She just force lightning us. We get up there all right, Bella, you ready? Ah!
Any of you left-handed?
What's that?
Any of you left-handed?
I am left-handed.
Oh.
Well, I would confidently bet on myself for left-handed for everybody, but right-handed I wouldn't put a penny on me myself.
I will bet you an In-N-Out hamburger next time I see you.
Yes, we'll do it. We'll have to arm wrestle outside of the In-N-Out, and so whoever wins can go in and pay for it.
Well, how's that going to work if we're all there and we're all arm wrestling? I mean, is it going to be a left-handed arm wrestling match, or is it going to be any hand, or how's that work?
Well, I'll do both, but I'm going to win on left hand. I'm going to lose on right hand.
So
Warrior's going to do both hands.
Is this going to be a pay-per-view event, or?
Yeah, $44.99, and it'll be on my YouTube channel.
Yeah, we all stream it live.
Super chat button with a super chat function on it.
That would actually be a fun live stream. I'm being totally honest there.
No, it would be brilliant.
While we're playing territory battles with the other hand, right?
Today's challenge: play Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes and arm wrestle. Let's meet our competitors. We get the American Gladiator theme music going.
Next week, deep sea fishing.
And Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes.
And galactic war racing.
Can you catch a marlin and beat Warrior in Galactic War? Warrior's like, can I use my left hand? All right. I think we've got through all the questions. Oh, Lord. All right. Let's see here. All right. So let's go ahead and go around the corn, as Grande used to say. I miss Grande. And pimp our stuff. We'll start with Warrior. Warrior, where can the folks check you out at?
Check me out on YouTube at Warrior Presents. Pretty easy to find me and putting out different videos. I actually have one video today that I'll be putting out hopefully the next hour. That is the #1 meta team versus the #2 meta team, both Gear 12 with almost all of the Zetas in place. Really, really fun to watch. I did 2 battles. Spoiler, first battle, I get pretty smoked, and I actually lose 2 characters within the first minute, but I rebound and survive and come back to win it. And then the second battle, in like a minute and a half, I smoke him. So it's really RNG dependent, but it's a fun video. It's the #1, #2 teams in the world that are on the meta report. And I get to battle the 2 out, and it's pretty fun. Couple battles, it's a good time. So check that out a little bit later.
Absolutely amazing stuff. Check that out, definitely. Mikey, Where can folks check you out?
I have a cough. Hang on.
All right. Well,
sorry about
we got the cough. Okay.
Yeah. I've got my YouTube channel, MikeHunt, Mike Hunt. I'm recording our territory battles and the struggles that I'm having in Galactic War. How I'm trying to get around them. Also managed to unlock Rolo, and she's on there. If you can guess who it is, she's shy. She's hiding on the screenshot on the thumbnail.
Okay.
Yeah, and just generally, having fun and recording it as I go along.
Very, very nice. Look, you're part of the RSG crew, but you do have your own YouTube channel. Tell the folks about it, especially your lightsaber builds. They're amazing.
So I got a YouTube channel. I've been neglecting it for the past couple weeks because of just real life stuff. I start a new job, so I actually start a new job on Monday. I'm excited.
I know. Congrats again.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I will actually be. I'll probably be an Angels fan now because my new job is by Angels Stadium, but I'm still a Dodgers fan. But anyway,
don't bandwagon.
I've lived in Southern California all my life, so
that makes sense.
I was born into it. But I do have a YouTube channel. It's Sir Loki, SIRLOKI. Mainly do arena stuff. I had some raid stuff going on, and anybody who's interested or want to check out like lightsaber builds, I build like prop lightsabers with lights and sound and everything. I've also been working on a few commissions. This is why I've been away from the YouTube scene for a little bit, because Halloween is coming up, and this is usually when I get the busiest. So just finished a Darth Nihilus replica, which is really awesome. I'm really, the sound fonts actually scare me because it's Darth Nihilus talking, and I mean, he doesn't really talk. He just like moans and growls, right? That's how he is in Knights of the Old Republic. But yeah, exactly. And then I am working on I was challenged by actually one of the YouTubers, Shy Bears. He wanted a Kylo Ren saber with the delayed ignition and the Quillen blades and all that stuff. So trying to get that worked out before Halloween. Again, it's a busy time for me because everybody wants to play dress up like Star Wars, so which is totally cool. But I got videos of that if you want to check those out. And as you mentioned, I am part of the RSG crew, so I'm here. I try to be here Saturday mornings. I mean, it's really early for me, and I've actually been busy with other work. But and then you can catch me. I think we're on the podcast tonight. Right?
Yeah, so there will be no stream tonight,
right?
Because we're going to be doing the podcast. So we are bringing back starting tonight, and we're going to after this weekend, we're going to go back to it full time. Just that we are going to do the podcast for the in-depth podcast. So we will not be streaming tonight, but I think it's a fair trade-off doing the podcast with those guys and being on there for that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's always fun. I'm looking forward to that one. So I'll be on there with Ranger and Finn.
Yes, Finn will be actually talking. I don't know what we're going to do.
Well, he's still recovering from the hurricane, so that's
but that's
important.
I mean, he did stand in the fury of the beast. The wind's blowing, the rain coming down, trees flying everywhere, and there's Finn outside with his lightsaber and his wicket, facing the evilness of the storm.
Yes. And then our regular Wednesday stuff. So
yes.
I didn't mean to like pre-pimp our channel, but
no, that's all right. Well, I mean,
into what it is. So
no, totally. So thank you everybody for being here today. Hopefully we got there a lot of questions. We hope we answered a lot of your questions. We always do it. If you go to our Discord, we're always answering questions in there. But you can check us out. This is of course RSG Reality Skewed Gamers. We stream every Wednesday and Saturday. Wednesday at 8 is where we cover the latest news and talk to you guys and have fun and talk about the latest news and notes and updates to the game. Saturday, it's just our time with you. We do answer questions on Wednesday, but it just makes more sense on Saturday just to do a full-blown Q&A. So this is why we do the Jedi Academy. So please support these other guys. Warrior and Mike and all the guys that come on here take time out of their busy schedules to do this for you guys. So, give them a thumbs up. Give them a subscribe. Like their stuff. I mean, this is how you support their channel. And that's the important thing. Same thing for us. If you like the content and everything, likes, thumbs up, and subscribe really helps us out a tremendous bit. So we didn't have everybody else on today, unfortunately, but we'll get them on next weekend, and we will be bringing back Saturday Night Live back. Our version of it anyway, for Star Wars Galaxy Heroes. So, on behalf of myself, Dr. Finn, Medicine Woman, the Troll Extraordinaire, the Lightsaber Builder himself, Sir Loki, the Great One Warrior, and of course, Mike, the Hunty Man himself. Thank you guys for joining us, and we will check you out next Wednesday at 8 Eastern when we cover the latest news and topics. Talk to you later. Bye.